Hey everybody, today we're going to show you how to find all 60 Korok seeds here in the Eldin Canyon region in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So our first two seeds are going to be found together just southwest of the Isle of Arbuckle. You guys can see our location here. And right on the edge of the mountain is going to be a little Korok buddy that needs help getting to the bottom of the mountain to find his friend. I would highly recommend making some sort of vehicle, whether it be an airplane or a car, to get down this mountain. If you try to just carry him on your own, it's going to take you a really long time, and you're going to encounter some enemies along the way, which can get frustrating. So you guys can see here that we've already made a little airplane. We're just going to fly this thing down into the canyon. You'll be able to see the smoke where his buddies are located. And we'll just do a little crash landing here, take him off, and we'll be able to get our first two Korok seeds. For number 3, we're going to head over to Darunia Lake, I believe is how it's pronounced. And once you make it over here, you're going to see an interesting pattern of rocks on the ground that we need to place two to complete this thing. The first one's going to be up here in the back. We'll go ahead and drop that in line here. And then if you turn around, in between these two rocks on our right is going to be our second one. So we'll go ahead and grab that one and place this one here to complete the pattern. Now, if it doesn't go off, you need to make sure that it's perfectly straight. You can see I was a little off here. Go ahead and center that. Once you do, the little poof will happen and the Korok will appear, and we'll get seed number 3. For number 4, we're going to head over to the HQ that's found just east of Darunia Lake. You guys can see here. And once you make it over here to this area, there's going to be a giant rock tower looking thing that we need to climb to the very top of. So if you go around the back, there's going to be a ladder that you can climb to save a little bit of time. And once you're up, we want to use ascend to get to the top of the tower. And I'll just be careful not to fall down into the hole. But you should be okay. And once you get to the very top, the little leaves will spawn that you can interact with. And we'll be able to get our next Korok seed. For our next location, we're going to head just a little bit north of the HQ, just south of the Isle of Arbuckle. You guys will see a little bridge here on your map. And if we go underneath that bridge, there's going to be an acorn. We're just going to hit that acorn with an arrow, and we'll be able to get seed number 5. Seeds 6 and 7 are going to be acquired together. This is going to be found just on the northern side of Goron City. You can see our exact location. We're going to have a little Korok buddy hanging out on the side of the mountain that we can speak with, and you'll see that we need to take him across the canyon. Now, normally I would tell you guys to make an airplane to fly him across, but fortunately we have minecarts over here. So go ahead and throw a fan on a minecart. Make sure you get on the far right track, and we're just going to ride him all the way over. This will take us right to where we need to go. I would recommend using Ultra Hand to pick him up and hold him as you're riding the minecart so that you can just drop him off when you go over the campsite. And then you can just jump out of the minecart and throw them in there. This is how you get your next two seeds. Now, seeds 8 and 9 are also going to be together. This will be northeast of Goron City. Just under the rails here on this rock, you're going to find another little Korok guy. And we just need to take him on top of the hill beside us. Now, it's not too difficult to get up there, so we're not going to build a vehicle. We're just going to grab him and walk up the cliff here. You just want to be careful as there's going to be planks sliding down really quickly. So stand on either the far left or the far right as you work your way up the hill. And when you make it to the top, you'll find the campsite, drop them off, and you'll get number 8 and 9. Seed number 10 is also going to be found just north of Goron City. You can see the location. You essentially just want to get up on top of these giant rocks. And when you get to the very top, you'll see a small rock on the end. Just go ahead and pick that thing up, and you'll get seed number 10. For seed number 11, we're going to head just northwest of the Goro Cove. You guys can see the location here. It's right on the edge of the mountain. You guys will notice that under the rocks, we have 2 little statues with 2 plates. All we need to do is pick up this little thing here and drop it in the second plate. And once you do, a little poof will happen, the Korok will appear, and you'll get seed number 11. For number 12, we're going to head over to the northwestern side of Goron City. We're going to go just northwest of the bridge on top of these rocks. You guys can see the bridge on my left. What you want to do is jump off, pull your glider, and turn around where you see the face on the rock. And we're going to pull out our bow and arrow when we drop down to where the mouth is. Now, I pulled it a little bit early, so we'll fall for just a few seconds here, but you'll see inside of the mouth is going to be a balloon. We just want to hit that balloon with an arrow, and we'll be able to get seed number 12. Seed number 13 is going to be found on the far southeastern side of Goron City. You want to work your way to the top of the waterfall, and we're actually going to stand on the rock up here and jump off into the circle of lily pads. Just pull your glider and then dive straight down, and once you do, you'll be able to get seed number 13. For number 14, we're also going to be on the southern side of Goron City, right where the giant bridge is that goes through the town. If we jump off and pull our glider underneath the bridge, you guys will see a balloon. Just hit that thing with an arrow and you'll get seed number 14. For number 15, we're going to head a little bit further south of Goron City. You guys can see the exact location here on your screen. There's essentially a little gap in between the mountain here. And in this gap, there's going to be a puzzle, and it's a super simple one. We literally just have a square We're just going to rotate this thing to make it flat, and then you can fit it in place. Once you do, the Korok will appear and you'll be able to get seed number 15. Seed number 16 is going to be found just south of the Goron Hot Springs. Again, here is the location. And you want to go under this giant rock bridge. You guys can see here, we want to go over to the right side. And there's another little rock that's kind of sticking out that we're going to climb up on top of. And we're going to have a little wooden platform that we can walk on. And all we need to do is jump and fly to the target without touching the ground, land on the target, and we'll be able to get seed number 16. Our next location is going to be found west of Goron City in the mountains. On your map, you can actually see 2 dotted line squares. This is going to be a rock formation, and we need to place 2 rocks in this pattern. So it's a little confusing looking from the ground, but from above, it's literally just 2 overlapping squares. So we can place 1 rock there, and if we go to the other side, you'll see the second rock sitting over here. Go ahead and put this in line. And again, you want to be careful. This thing might roll on you. But if you get it in place, the little poof will happen, the Korok will appear, and you'll get seed number 17. For number 18, we're going to head just southwest of Goron City. You guys are going to see we have a little river here. If you go to the middle, we actually have a little mountain area that we can jump off of to find a circle of lily pads. If you go to the small rock right next to it, you can just sprint and jump, and it'll dive right through them, and you'll get seed number 18. The next location is over at the southern mine. If you don't have this on your map, we'll show you the exact location here along this path. But once you get over here, it'll be pretty noticeable. There's a giant rock pickaxe statue, and you just need to climb up on top of that pickaxe, and you'll find a small little rock on the top that you can pick up, and you'll be able to get seed number 19. For the next location, we're going to head just west of the southern mine. You guys can see we're on the edge of a mountain here, and you want to climb up on the little ledge that's on the side. You can see where we're at here. You're going to find this small little cave. If you climb up the rocks, it's got one of those wooden platforms that we can ascend through. So we'll go ahead and ascend through the wood. We'll end up on the side of the mountain, and once you pop up, the Korok will appear, and we'll get seed number 20. For seed number 21, we're going to head just west of the Gromby River. You guys will see on your map, there's a really small looking pond out here. So come right over here to this pond, and inside is going to be a boulder that we're going to use Ultra Hand to pick up. And we're going to turn around and take that right up the hill and drop it in the wooden post that's above the pond. Once it sits there for a second, it'll pop, the Korok will appear, and you'll get seed number 21. Seeds number 22 and 23 are going to be found together alongside the Gromby River. You guys can see our location here. We're just going to have another little Korok guy that needs help finding his friend, which is going to be on top of the mountain above him. Now, there's a couple different ways to do this. However, I think the easiest is to grab the rocket that's on the ground right next to him, and you're going to angle it to where it's pointing up and attach it to him so we can send him up there. If you mess this up the first time, there's another rocket that's over there that you can pick up, but we're just going to bring him back far enough away so that when it angles, it actually makes it above the rock and he'll drop off. And all we need to do now is climb the mountain and find him. Now, he shouldn't be too far for me. He just went right on the other side of the rocks here, so you can just pick him up using Ultra Hand, bring him right back over to where his friends are, talk to them, and you'll get your next 2 seeds. Our next location is going to be a little further south along the same river. You guys can see we'll be on the right side on this mountain. And once you get up here, you'll find this giant boulder just sitting here. We're going to pick that up and turn around and place it on the wooden post a little bit further up the mountain. Once you lock that thing into place, the little poof will happen, the Korok will appear, and you'll get seed number 24. Seeds number 25 and 26 are also going to be obtained at the same time. These will be found right over here at the Gorko Tunnel. And you'll be able to see at the top of the hill is going to be our little Korok guy that needs help finding his friend, which is literally just at the bottom of this hill. You can pick him up and walk him down there. It's not that far at all. However, there are a couple enemies that you'll encounter, which is the only reason that I made an airplane. But you'll see here during the flight that it does not take long to get down here at all. So if you want to just pick him up and carry him down, fight the few enemies that you run into, you'll be able to drop them off and get your next 2 Korok seeds. For number 27, we're going to head just to the western side of the Gorko Lake. You guys can see we're pretty much up on the hill here, and this one's a little tricky to find. There's a hole in the ground up here. It's got a boulder in it. We're going to go ahead and use Ultra Hand to pick up that boulder. And if you turn around, there's a hidden post in between all the rocks up here that you can drop it in. Just be careful. You can see I tried to let it go and it fell out. If that happens, just pick it back up, throw it in there, and the Korok will appear, and you'll be able to get seed at number 27. The next location will be found over by the Medingo Pool. You guys will be able to see we have a little rock structure right next to it on your map. What you want to do is go inside that structure, and on the rock in the middle is going to be a flower, and you're going to follow this flower all the way to the top of this rock structure. So you'll see to go around the outside, just keep climbing to the top, and once you get the white flower, the Korok will appear, and you'll get the next seed. For seed number 29, we're going to head back down to the Gromby Lake, and you'll see that we have a pretty big structure on the map right here next to the tracks. We want to get on top of that. So to do it, we're going to attach a rocket to our shield, lift off, and when you land on the top, you'll find little leaves that you can interact with. The Korok will appear and you'll get seed number 29. Seeds number 30 and 31 are going to be found together just west of the Gromby Lake. You can see our exact location here on the screen. And once you make it over here, you're going to find another one of our little Korok buddies who needs help finding his friend. And we're going to need to get him through the canyon on the hill on the other side. Now, this one is a little far away. You don't necessarily need an airplane. It's not like there's obstacles in the way. You will see here during the little flight path that it is way easier to get an airplane, but if you don't have the materials to make one, you can just carry them across. There really isn't going to be too much in your way, but we'll go ahead and fly them over here, crash land into the tent, drop them off, and we'll get our next 2 seeds. This next seed is pretty random. It's going to be found just west of the Gromby Lake on top of this mountain here on your screen. And what you want to do is climb on top of the small rock before you get to the end right here. And once you do, the little leaves are going to appear. The Korok will pop up and you'll be able to get the next seed. For seed number 33, we're going to head southwest of the Gromby Lake. You guys can see down here we have a little cluster of trees on the map, and you want to go to the biggest tree in the middle and go to the back side. There's going to be a little hole with an acorn inside. Go ahead and shoot that. You're going to get your next Korok seed. For seed number 34, you want to head over to the entrance to the Korok forest over here in the Minshi Woods. You guys can see our exact location here. Once you make it up here, you won't be able to miss it. There's a giant rock with a pinwheel next to it. As soon as you interact with that pinwheel by walking by it, you'll have 3 balloons spawn behind you. Just hit all 3 of those with arrows. The Korok will appear and you'll get seed number 34. Seed number 35 is going to be found just west of the Minshi Woods. You guys can see the location here. And once you make it over here, you're going to see this giant bridge looking thing that goes off the cliff. On the back of the bridge is going to be a little acorn that's hanging down. Just hit that thing with an arrow and you'll get your next seed. For seed number 36, we're going to head even further southwest of the Minshi Woods just before you get to the other pond down here. You're going to see this little tower. We want to get on top of this tower so we can fly across and then we can ascend to the roof. We'll go all the way up here to the top. And once you make it to the top, you're going to see this little wooden platform. We're going to walk over it and we're going to need to go all the way over here and ascend onto this little tower. So this is going to be timed. However, you guys can see that I'm not really doing anything special. I just kind of jumped off and ran, used ascend, took me a couple extra seconds, and I was still able to make it in time. So once you pop up, just walk in the yellow circle and you'll get yourself your next Korok seed. Our next location is pretty much in the same spot, except this time we want to go out into the middle of this little pond area. There's going to be a giant rock formation in the middle with a small rock sitting on top. Go ahead and pick up that small rock, and once you do, the Korok will pop up and we'll get seed number 37. For seed number 38, we're going to head a little bit further southwest of the military training camp down by the other pond. And if you work your way down to the edge where our marker is, you'll see there's a little shack with an acorn hanging down from it. Just hit that acorn with an arrow. The Korok will appear and you'll get the next seed. Our next location is going to be on the bridge. It's located just southwest of the Trilby Plain. You guys can see we're on the eastern side of the bridge, and we're going to go underneath, and on the rocks down here, there's going to be a small rock that we can pick up. The Korok will appear and we'll get seed number 39. For this next one, we're going to head just south of the Trilby Plain. You guys can see we're pretty close to the bridge that we just got our last seed. When you come over here, you're going to see one giant tree by itself. There's going to be a hole in it with an acorn. Just hit that acorn with an arrow and you'll get seed number 40. For seed number 41, we're going to head just southeast of the Trilby Plain. You guys can see right up here on this hill, we're going to have a pretty big tree. And under that tree are going to be 2 statues with plates. One of them is going to have an apple. All we need to do is go into our inventory, grab an apple and throw it in the empty plate. Once we do, the Korok will appear and we'll get seed number 41. For seed number 42, we're going to head just west of the Trilby Valley. You guys can see the location here. It's pretty much just a big cluster of trees. And if you come right over here to the backside, in between this little triangle of trees, we're going to have a rock. Go ahead and pick that thing up and you'll get seed number 42. Our next location is going to be on top of the giant rock that's on the far western side of Lake Verona. You can see the location here. And as we fly across this giant rock, you'll notice that we have a smaller rock on the top. Go ahead and pick that thing up. Korok will appear and we'll get seed number 43. Seeds number 44 and 45 are going to be together. You want to head over to the walkway that's in between Lake Verona and Lake Intenok. When you make it over here to this walkway, you guys will find that we have a little Korok friend hanging out, and we need to take him on the other side of the lake. Now, there's 2 ways to go about doing this. You can either make yourself an airplane or a boat. There's also materials here that you can use if you run out in your own inventory. I would recommend using an airplane. It's always a lot easier to just fly across, but again, a boat will work just fine as there's not too many obstacles in the way, but you're not going to be able to run them on foot. But once you make it over here, just speak with them and you'll get your next 2 seeds. Number 46 is going to be found inside of the Garrow Pond, just south of Death Mountain. You guys can see the location here. And in the middle of this pond, you're going to have a little Korok. Go ahead and use Ultra Hand to pick up that Korok and then dunk it into the water. And once you let go, it'll pop up, pull the other side out, our Korok will appear, and we'll get the next seed. For our next location, we're going to head over to Broca Island, which is again just south of Death Mountain. You can see the location here. And once you make it over here, you're going to have a little line of rocks. We need to put one in the line, and it's going to be found on this bigger rock over in the water. So go ahead and grab this thing, bring it over, put it in the empty space here, and once you do, the Korok will appear, and we'll be able to get seed number 47. For seed number 48, we're going to head over to Cephala Lake, and we want to go to the western side where this little piece of land is sticking out. You're going to find a wooden stump. Go ahead and walk on that, and you'll see the little yellow circle out in the lake. Fortunately, we have a little piece of land that we can just walk on all the way across, and it can be pretty slow. So even if you're sprinting, it's not going to make too much of a difference, but you should be able to make it out in here in time. Grab the circle, the Korok will appear, and you'll get seed number 48. Our next location is going to be just south of the Maw of Death Mountain. You guys can see we're going to be right next to this giant rock bridge, and underneath that bridge is going to be a dandelion on a rock. We're going to go ahead and hit that thing with an arrow, or you can climb up and hit it with your sword and then drop down to the bottom, wait for this thing to float down and grab it before it hits the ground. And if you do it correctly, the Korok will appear and you'll get seed number 49. Number 50 is pretty much in the same spot, just on the eastern side of Lake Verona. If you come to this exact location, you're going to find a small little cave on the side of the mountain here. If you go inside, you'll see a wooden stump on the ceiling. Go ahead and use Ascend through that stump, which will take you up to the side of the mountain. The Korok will appear and you'll get seed number 50. Number 51 is also south of Lake Verona. However, it's on the other side of the mountain. So if you come right over here to this exact location down near the ground, you're going to find a circle of rocks with one missing. The one missing is on the 2 bigger rocks if you're working your way up the hill. Now, when you place this for the first time, it's most likely going to roll. So let it roll into place and then pick it up again, drop it in the right spot. The poof will happen, the Korok will appear, and you'll get seed number 51. Now 52 and 53 are going to be together just southwest of Cephala Lake by the stable. You can see the location here. It's just going to be a little Korok guy hanging out on the hillside. Speak with him. He'll show you that we need to go up on the side of the mountain. And as always, we're going to build ourselves a little airplane here and take him across. Now you do not need a vehicle to get up here. You can just follow the pathway. However, it will take you a good while as you have to go pretty much past the campsite, as you'll see here as we fly up here, and go all the way around the backside. So it's going to be a long hike if you don't have any materials to build a vehicle. But if you do, make a little airplane so you can get over here quicker, drop them off, and you'll get your next 2 seeds. Now 54 is going to be found in pretty much the exact same spot here next to Cephala Lake. This one's just going to be on the eastern side of the stable on this little mountainside. When you get up here, we're going to have a puzzle. We're going to pick up the piece and come over here to the right, and you essentially want to rotate this until it looks like a Z with a block sticking outward on the top left. You'll be able to stick it into place into the side here, and you'll get seed number 54. Now 55 is also pretty much in the same spot, this time just southeast of the stable. Right before you get to all the trees down here, you're going to find a little rundown, what looks like a shack, and you're going to see a little pile of leaves working its way around them. Catch up to those, interact with them, and once you do, you'll get seed number 55. Our next location is going to be even further south from that stable, down next to the Turnio Trail. You can see the exact location here. Once you make it over here, we're going to have some more rocks with a pile of leaves going in circles around them. Just interact with those leaves and you'll be able to get seed number 56. Our next 2 are going to be found together. This is going to be pretty much in the same spot along the Turnio Trail, just a little bit further south along the pathway. You're going to find another little Korok guy hanging up on the hill. Go ahead and speak with him and you'll see that we need to go on top of the mountain. Now for this one, we're not going to make a vehicle. What we're going to do is just pick him up and turn around. And we're just going to work our way down the mountain until we get a spot where we can actually walk up, as this isn't really too far of a walk and is much easier than crafting a vehicle. We're going to continue to go around the rocks here and we'll finally reach a spot where we can just climb up easily. And all we're going to do is go north until we see the light. So continue to work your way up the hill, and right up here on your right, you guys will start to see the light from the little campsite. You can go ahead and drop them off and get your 2 Korok seeds. Our next location is going to be on a mountain just north of the Zora River. You guys can see the exact location here. And at the very top of the mountain, there's one single tree. All we need to do is climb to the top. Now, if it's raining, you may slip a little bit, so take your time. But as you guys can see, once you get to the top of the tree here, we're going to have a little cluster of leaves. We can turn around and interact with those. Once you do, a little Korok will appear, and we're going to be able to get seed number 59. Our 60th and final Korok seed for the region is going to be found just northeast of our last location on that mountainside. You can see here on the edge of this mountain, we're going to have a giant rock formation that we want to get on top of. So we can fly our way across, and we want to walk over this tree stump, which is going to give us a little target to get to with a timer. You want to go pretty quickly because this is fast. Just be careful if it is raining. Once you make it across, you'll get the Korok to pop up, and you'll get your 60th and final seed. But this is how to find all 60 Korok seeds here in the Eldin Canyon region. If you guys have any other questions, make sure to leave them down in the comment section below, and we'll see you guys in the next video.